All right, so I've got a couple of things that I need to do today. One of them is to sharpen this. All right. And that should only take a minute here. And then I also need to fix the handle on this. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is just kind of start out with a mildly aggressive belt, but nothing too crazy. There's a belt I'll be using. All right, so now you can see where the grind line is started on this one. The other thing I forgot to mention is that I do need to fix the tip on this, so I'm going to be making that a little bit pointier. Just slowly working it to where I can get that tip right where I want it. Slowly making it go back to a point. And at the same time, I don't want to heat it up too much. Slightly aggressive belt helps with that. But I've got a bucket of water down there. That way I can cool it down if it does start to heat up. Now, one thing, I could make that point a lot faster by just really grinding into it. But I don't want to do that. I just want to slowly feather it in to where it's almost like a seamless transition right into that tip, because there wasn't really much of one to begin with. So. Well, I can be pretty proud of that right there as far as for the first grind goes. It's got a nice little edge on it, and now we're going to sharpen it up a little bit. So now for this one, I'm going to be going with a much higher grip belt. I am going to have to move the blade faster because you can heat up and destroy a blade with one of these if you're not careful with it. So definitely something you want to keep in mind whenever you're reaching this point with it. Oh, the other thing is that I'm only going to take this so far in here. For the final sharpening, I'll end up doing that at my shop on my smaller 10 onion edition belt sander. I just like the final edge that one puts on it. All right. I think that's about where I want to get it right now. I mean, it's pretty sharp. It'll probably shave. Let's find out. Oh yeah. There you go. I don't know if y'all can see that there. But yeah, it'll definitely shave. That's where I get it to with this. And then whenever I get back to my actual knife shop, I'll just give it the final little touch, and that'll work out pretty good. All right, so for the next part of this little adventure, let's go inside and fix this handle. All right, so here the first thing that I'm going to be doing, I've got my epoxy. What I'll be using is the G-Flex 650 Tough epoxy. Great stuff. I do absolutely love this. It works like a champ. Even though I've had this stuff for quite a while, it's no issues whatsoever. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here is line everything up and make sure that it all fits the way that it's supposed to. Once I put it on, it is going to button up nice. Then I want to take my clamp and just put it over it, give it a little bit of a squeeze just to make sure that that is going to do everything I need it to, and that it's not going to like try to bind it up in a weird way or something like that. We'll go ahead and use our G-Flex and yeah, get this thing fixed. And I'm just going to stir that up for a minute. You don't want to go too fast with this. This stuff does not dry crazy quick. I've got 5-minute epoxy and stuff like that, but honestly, this G-Flex is much better. It's a good product. Link in the description. All right, now that I've mixed it up to where I like it, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit on both sides of this. Now, I don't want to go all crazy and put too much, because you know, anything you put into it, whenever you squish it together, you're going to be dealing with getting it out, and that can be pretty aggravating. Just get it up in there. All right. And the great thing about using this G-Flex is that you don't have to sit there and rush really fast. Like if you miss a step or something, you can sit it down. You've got time to actually work. It's this is my favorite stuff to use. So now I've got it all up in there. And I'm going to scrape away any of the excess that's along the sides. The other really great thing about this stuff is that the cleanup on it is really easy. Popping that into there, you can see how it squishes out the sides. With 5-minute epoxy, that would be kind of a big deal. With this stuff, not so much. So now, look how easy that stuff is to wipe off. I mean, good grief. Kind of push this down on the table a little bit and then just get up on it, give it a couple of squeezes. I don't want to go too crazy with the with squeezing it because, you know, I don't want to break it, first of all. But secondly, you really don't need to. So now there's a little bit more that squished out of the side. Not very much, but it's enough. Just going to wipe that off. That's mo better. All right, and now I'm going to let that sit. All right, so that's that. I'm just going to let it sit overnight. Being able to clean it up right after you put the epoxy in there makes a world of difference. After that, it's done. So have a good day. Bye. Oh, so I ended up deciding to go with a smaller clamp just because the other one was a little bit too big. I wasn't getting a good bite on it the way I wanted it. So, but again, that's the beauty of this G-Flex. You've got time to do all that kind of stuff if you need to.